Alrighty, how's it going, guys? Now I've got the video for you for the split cooling for the supercharger with two tanks at the front of the radiator. Had a few people ask about it, so I figured, yep, good time to do it since the engine bay is a bit stripped. Basically, what I'm doing here is going through the whole circuit from where I've teed it off, or closed off the original tee, sorry, and then putting a straight pipe into running fresh two hoses and going through the whole system. Please don't put an engine bay tank like those BMW ones or any other one for that matter. My argument is, and really it's not even an argument, it's just common sense, when you pop the bonnet open on a hot day you feel the heat coming out of it, so it just doesn't add up to put a small little reservoir here for the engine cooling, for the supercharger cooling circuit, and expect it to drop intake temps. You're just going to boil the damn thing up in here. It's just way too hot. This whole engine bay is sealed to retain the heat inside, so anything that's going to stay in there is going to heat up. It's just as simple and cleaner to just keep them outside. We've got so much room at the front. Anyways, so without further ado, we shall start with where the T-piece originated, which is here and connected to the supercharger circuit. I got rid of it and just used the straight piece to then have a closed loop for the engine cooling circuit. And then I basically ran new hoses, so I got rid of the hose that I removed from the T-piece and got rid of the original hoses, because I'm running as an aftermarket pump that's none of the ones that people run, so I figured I needed my own hoses, which made life easy because then I can cut them to length and not be short and route them nicely. So I recommend you do the same thing, that way you don't cut short or end up kinking it, because you'll need to do some nice turns with it and bends. So I ran two new ones. That's my return, so that's the warm side and that's the feed, that's the cool side. So cold, supercharger, intercooler, then back through the warm. Now what I did with the warm is I brought it down, retaining the same clips, the original factory clips, and then I looped it back up into the first tank. And I connected it from the top, and I did my own tapping in here. I didn't use the original because it was too small, and enlarging it was too close to the edge, to the wall of the reservoir, so I didn't bother. So yeah, tapped it in from the top, and then did another tap between the two tanks at the very bottom. Now that there's done specifically to then equalize the volume between both of them, and so basically when the water comes in here, this will fill up as much as this, as long as there is water in the circuit still. But if it was empty, it will basically fill, then it will continue through, which is where I've done the exit, and then it will continue loop around. As you can see it, basically that's the black hose here. So what I've done is I've gone down there and I've used basically fittings to form a U. So I haven't actually bent the hose, because you won't find a hose that's bent like that unless you're lucky. Otherwise it'll kink if it's a normal straight hose. And then I looped it back underneath, you can see there, into the water pump, the intake side, and also the inlet of the water pump. You have to do that because you'll basically help yourself when it comes to refilling the system and purging the air out of it. If you don't do it, if you put it on the exit side, then the whole concept of fluid dynamics won't work with the pump, because the pump needs water on the inlet obviously to push it through. Basically, in essence, that's all it is. Those tanks you can find on eBay. I bought them locally, however I have spotted them on eBay. The beauty about them is the fact that they're nice and chrome, and you can actually see them behind the grill. So I'll close the bonnet and you'll be able to see them. And the other thing is the tops and the bottoms are actually removable if you undo the Allen keys, and then this allows you to then rotate, flip it upside down and change the orientations to be able to get this showing here. I could have done it on this side, but I went ahead and tapped it before I changed it, so I kind of thought, bugger it, I'm not going to bother tapping it again and blocking it. So yeah, and then I don't know, just thought it looked nice and symmetrical and looked even. And yeah, these won't heat up, they're sitting in front of the radiator, so all the cold air comes through here and it will cool the fluid down. Not that I care, because the heat exchanger will be doing all that. So yeah, I'll close it up so you can see them. So you can see the two tanks there. It's a bit hard to see because it's a bit of a shaded area, but if it was in the direct light and when the actual bonnet's completely shut, you'll see more of them. And a few people already asked what the hell those tanks are because you can see them through the grille. But yeah, so hopefully this was informative, and if there's any questions, let me know, and I'll try my best to answer them. And happy modding.